Welcome to Navigating Your Retirement. I'm your co-host, Tony Shore, and I'm here with our host, the man with the plan, as always, is Travis Chance. And Travis, I am pumped up and excited about today's show because this is our annual Thanksgiving show. You always bring it. I love your idea for today's show. You're going to give us your top 5 Thanksgiving movies and some lessons we can learn, right?
Well, we always go through our top 5, and they don't really change because it's like post 2000. People, they stop making good Thanksgiving movies.
It's true. It's true. They really don't.
So I figured since we're going to talk about them anyway, might as well make a show out of them.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
like it.
Good morning. Welcome to Siskel and Ebert 2.0. I never understood their dynamic, by the way. I always thought that was kind of crazy.
No. Oh, yeah. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I never got into Siskel and Ebert. I mean, I'd watch them because I'd want to learn about new movies, but I rarely, if ever, agreed with any of their takes.
Yeah, it's kind of like Rotten Tomatoes now. You look at some of the Rotten Tomato scores, and it's like, are you kidding me? Like, what movie did you watch?
Yeah, exactly. I don't get it.
But this morning, yes, we're going to talk turkey and lessons and all the things, all the accoutrement that go with. Which, although I do have an honorable mention because I have a top 5, and I picked some things that we can learn as far as retirement lessons from the top 5. But I'm gonna throw in an honorable mention. I'll go ahead and do that first.
Okay,
this is not on my top 5, but I don't know that there's a way to have a list that doesn't have this movie on it. It is Al Pacino, and it is Sin of a Woman. I mean,
yes, that's on my list. That's in my top 5. It's not on
the lessons list, but it is definitely an honorable mention.
Yeah.
You can't have Thanksgiving without it.
That's in my personal top 5. I was going to say Son of a Woman is not only one of my favorite movies, and I think the best Al Pacino movie. I know that's debatable, but
it's pretty close. I mean,
yeah, he did such a great job in that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get an Oscar for nothing unless you're on one of the movies.
And I know people love to hate Pauly Shore, my namesake, and we are
son-in-law.
We are distantly related.
Okay.
I am related to Pauly Shore. My grandpa Bob Shore actually met and knew and is related to his father, Sammy Shore, who was a comedian who was a stand-up comic way back, Sammy Shore. But his son-in-law, which is Pauly Shore's best movie, which isn't saying a lot, but it's still a great movie.
Best House in a Bad Neighborhood.
Yeah, it's the best house in a bad neighborhood. But that is a really great, I think that's a fun movie, and I get a kick out of it because I grew up on a farm.
Oh, absolutely.
And because my namesake's in it. But at any rate, that is a Thanksgiving movie for sure.
Absolutely.
That's a good one. But where do you want to start on your list of movies?
Number 1 is also my number 1 Thanksgiving movie. And I'm going to start with one of my favorite quotes. Del, where's your hand? It's between 2 pillows. Those aren't pillows.
Yeah.
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
No, it's like, where's your other hand?
Yeah.
Between 2 pillows.
Those
aren't pillows.
Planes, trains, and automobiles. Perfect Thanksgiving movie.
One of the best movies.
One of the best buddy movies.
Period.
God, I miss John Candy. I mean,
I miss him so much, Travis.
I know these aren't Thanksgiving movies like you were talking about, like true Thanksgiving, but you're talking about like Uncle Buck, and what was it? Was it Only You and Great Outdoors and
and his bit appearances like in Stripes.
Oh yeah.
Hey Eisenhower, which way to the mess hall? And how about my favorite Candy appearance, and that is in Vacation, the first one.
Yep.
Sorry, folks, park's closed. The moose out front should have told you. It's so funny.
Oh Lord, yeah. No, he was one of the best, man.
Yeah, he was so great. And have you read about how kind he was. He would come early to the set and help the
Yep.
crew set up and tear down,
Yep.
and would help bring, like, if he saw somebody hauling boxes that needed help, he'd go help lift the
Yep.
boxes. And yeah, I mean,
Provided catering, if
yep,
the budget didn't allow for it, he'd take it out of his own pocket to
yep,
support the crew. Yeah, I mean
yep,
he was an
stand up
all time
guy.
great. Yeah,
Yep, just a, I guess, just a true gentleman and a stand-up guy, and really cared for people. And that's always neat to hear, because you hear about the bad ones, right? You hear things about other actors, and most actors being prima donnas, and he was
oh
just the
yeah,
opposite.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of like Tom Cruise yelling at the staff, yelling at the crew on set for not having a mask on during shooting, like during COVID,
Oh
you
yeah,
get the John
crazy.
Candy stories, which are a lot better. So,
Yeah,
but
lots better.
but the story, I guess, involves obviously Neil and Dale. And for those who haven't seen it, I'm really
Oh,
welcome to Earth. Uh,
yeah, yeah. I
uh,
don't know if there's anyone out there that hasn't seen Planes,
if you
Trains,
haven't
and
seen it, just
Automobiles.
turn on TBS or turn on TNT or
It'll
one of
be
the,
on
yeah, it'll be on. But it
Thanksgiving.
follows
Yep.
Neil and Dale, and Neil, very tight laced, comes to the airport, played by Steve Martin. He gets to the airport, and he is just, he's in the zone. He's a businessman. He thinks he's just gonna, get on his flight, go home. Everything's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna work out. Well, it actually doesn't. And
Right.
that's what I think, Tony, to start with, is flexibility in retirement is almost a superpower, because you got to be flexible. And that's what I tell folks, when we're first, talking in our course. If you look at a skyscraper, you go to New York City, you go to Chicago, go wherever, you look at these skyscrapers, there's a reason why they're flexible. There's a reason why they have been designed to have some movement available. It's because if they didn't and they were rigid, they would break. And that's no different than retirement. And obviously Dale steps in, and they go on these wild chases. And yes, I don't think your retirement needs to go exactly like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles,
Hopefully not. Yeah.
but we do have a destination in mind. We do have where we want to get to. And markets and health and family, all these things provide just an uncanny ability to be unpredictable, right? But success in retirement, it's not about having this flawless plan and just having everything hit just right, because it's never going to, right? I mean, the markets are going to do what the markets do. They're not going to perform just because you pick up the phone and call the S&P or Standard & Poor's and say, hey, I want the S&P to go up this week. It doesn't work that way, right? I mean, companies are going to have earnings are going to lead stocks, and stocks are going to go from there. And that's what your portfolio is a lot of times built by. So, having flexibility provides you with a lot more, I think, ability to have some fun along the way. Because yes, there are going to be times when you're going to be, you're going to be Neil and Dale sitting in the bus station waiting for that bus to come, and it's not going to be fun. And then there's going to be, times whenever they're going to be out and having adventures, right? I mean, action's going to come, but sometimes it's not going to be the way we envision, the way we anticipate. So being able to adjust your plan, and that's really what we preach, Tony, and we've talked about in the past, about having things like flexible withdrawal strategies. If your portfolio it has no protection in it whatsoever, and you're just taking Social Security, you have no pension, and you're just taking a distribution from your retirement account to supplement your income, that cannot be rigid, because
Mm.
there are going to be times when the market is going to be like it is today, at near all-time highs. There are going to be times like in the spring when the market's going to be off 20%. There's going to be 2022s that are going to happen where it's down 25, more than twice in a given year. These are times when you have to be able to pull the throttle back and have some flexibility, whether you plan for it ahead of time and maybe you had a little more cash in your portfolio so you could cover those income needs while the market recovered, or whether you just said, you know what, is that really something that's in need to do right now? Is that an addition or a car that needs to be purchased? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. If it's something you can hold off, probably being flexible gives you a little more opportunity.
Sure.
but also things like, in my opinion, it relieves a lot of stress. Do you remember how tight Neil was pretty much for almost the first half of the movie?
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
was
even
uptight.
even
He was
though
wound
Steve
up
Martin
tight.
plays the banjo, he was tight as a banjo string, right? I mean, he was, he was just ready to pop off. So
Yeah,
if you stay rigid, it's going to be stressful. It's not going to be fun. You're not going to
right,
have the kind of retirement that you want to.
right.
And being able to have a little humor and a little patience along the way will probably pay dividends, just like Coca-Cola and Johnson and Johnson. So have that built into your portfolio. So the more flexible you are, probably the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, would agree.
Tony,
That's an awesome one.
number two, because I know we've got a limited amount of time, so I want to get
Yep.
through all these. Number two, Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving.
Oh, classic show.
Gratitude over perfection. Right? We're never, perfection is something we strive for. It's not attainable. It's not on the elemental chart, as Matthew McConaughey said in Wolf of Wall Street. It is fairy dust. It does not exist. Right?
Right.
We do not have the ability to attain perfection. But if you are out there and you are listening to the sound of my voice, and you have the ability to retire and retire well, benchmarking your portfolio or your total assets against someone else, that's not a healthy thing to do, right? Be grateful and have gratitude over perfection, because I think so many times we get caught up, and it's the old saying, keeping up with the Joneses. The perfect lifestyle doesn't exist. The perfect portfolio does not exist. I mean, we can chase it, but that's all you're doing is you're chasing. You're not actually being fulfilled. You're not being able to make strides forward, right? And that's one of the things I would say is, if you can enjoy the period that you're in, it's only going to improve everything around you, right?
Gratitude over perfection.
Gratitude over perfection. It's
Yeah.
not something we can attain, right? Enjoy what's already here, not what could be or what was.
Yep.
So Tony, I'm gonna let you get in on this one. Dutch.
Oh, Dutch.
I
Classic.
bet you can't guess
Ed
where I'm going.
O'Neill
I
from
bet you
Married
can't
with
guess where I'm
Children.
going to with a retiree's portfolio in Dutch.
So Ed O'Neill is so good, and of course of Married with Children fame. But yeah, there are a lot of lessons we can draw from Dutch, right?
So here's a thought. And I want everybody to kind of, if you're driving, don't close your eyes, but close your eyes and think about this. Is it more important to leave money to your children, or is it more important what you leave in your children? What you instill in them?
Yeah.
What values, what are you giving them in life lessons? Right? How do we treat people? How do we help others? How do we actually raise and support good human beings? Right? And remember, the little kid in Dutch, just like most of you guys out there, and Tony, I know you as well. When you first meet him on screen, you want to pinch his head off. I mean, he is entitled. He is entitled. He is a little, what?
Yep.
He's, just ticked off at the world. We later learn why. It's, his mom and dad got divorced. His dad really was not helpful in that situation. His mom's trying as hard as she can.
Mm-hmm.
She gets her boyfriend Dutch, come down to Georgia, pick him up, drive him back for Thanksgiving, and it just turns into a free for all. Right. And one of the things that we talk about with a lot of conversations that we have is about gifting. And it's about, what can I do for my kids? What can I do for my grandkids? And yes, giving to their 529 plans, doing Roth conversions, leaving them as a beneficiary, if that's appropriate with your plan. Not if you're listening, I'm not your advisor. Either give us a call, let us help you, or don't listen to what I'm about to say. So if you're a retiree and you do want to give to your kids, great. Give grandkids, that's terrific. But maybe instead of giving them a check, I'll tell you, and if he's listening, Mr. John, I want to be you one day. I have a client. What he did was he actually instead of, because he is doing all the right things to leave a legacy to his grandkids financially. But Tony, one of the best things I've ever heard was I asked him what he was going to do last summer. It was either last summer or the summer before last. And he said that he let his grandkids pick one trip with grandpa. And he took his granddaughter, they went to Paris and went to Europe. And his grandson, they went to Egypt before all the Middle East, got a little more contentious, but went to the Middle East, went over to Egypt, did the pyramids. I mean, just had the best time. And it was just those two. Think about how many memories. And he actually took a picture with a CFG jacket on and hat on a camel. I thought that was pretty cool. Like, hey, we're represented in South or in the Middle East over there. That was actually pretty cool. But
awesome.
but think about the memories that he made. He's also taken that same grandson who is a very big military historian. Like his grandson's, I mean, he's phenomenal, but he loves that type of thing, and he wanted to go on the Band of Brothers tour. So they started at Normandy Beach and went all the way to Berlin.
Wow.
So my point is this, yes, the money that you leave your kids and grandkids, that's terrific. But the memories and the life lessons that you leave, that's where your presence carries more generational
Use
value.
that money to create experiences,
Yes,
rather
more
than
generational
gifts.
value than your gifts and presents.
I don't remember any gifts that my grandparents gave me as far as physical items or money.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But you remember the day going fishing?
Oh, I remember riding with my grandpa to the natural springs in Adrian, Minnesota.
Shelling peas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Baling hay with grandpa and getting out there on the tractor with grandpa.
Actually, those on an open cab tractor sucking diesel fumes all day. There's a couple memories I could probably be like, if I didn't have those, that'd be one thing. But anyway, hey, how about Dutch? I mean, I think that's a pretty good life lesson, right?
That's a huge life lesson, and it can be related to your financial life and your retirement as well. So
absolutely. Next, one of our personal favorites. I know this is on your list and it is on mine, not just for the soundtrack, but also the cast, The Big Chill.
The Big Chill is a great Thanksgiving movie, and it's one of the few movies where it's actually more famous for the soundtrack.
Yep.
People remember the soundtrack more than the movie, but the movie is so good, about a group of college roommates from the late 60s or early 70s that get back together.
They went to University of Michigan. And then actually, for the bonus question of this round, who was in the casket? Who was the friend that they came back to his funeral?
Oh, I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No. Who was it?
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner. Was it?
Yep.
Wow.
Let's see if I'm correct. If only there was a device where you could type in things, you could figure out answers. So who was in the casket in the Big Chill? Let's see if I'm right. Let's see if I am correct. And voila, Kevin Costner.
Yeah. Wow.
So there you go.
I did not know that, or I forgot that.
Yep.
That's wild.
So one of the things that what can we learn from The Big Chill, other than the fact that the 60s and 70s had much better music than we have today?
Oh man, the music was so good.
I mean, my goodness. But think about this. One of the things that I think is very underprepared for is, how are we going to fill our days? How are we going to fill our time once we actually retire? Because retirement is the goal, but retirement is just the act of, in my opinion, working either because you want to, or because you or not working because you don't want to. Right? You don't want to go into work, so you retire. But then what happens? You fill your days how? because, if you come in and you have a job, let's say it's 8 to 5, you're going to basically have a regimented, you get up at 6 or 6:30, you get the kids off to school. Now the kids are not at school. They're in college. They're doing it on their own. So then your mornings become a little less stressful, maybe. And then you come into work, you have your interaction with your office staff, your staff members, et cetera, your coworkers. You go to lunch, you do the afternoon, you come home, you have dinner with the wife, you guys hang out a little bit, and you go to bed. That's your regimented daily routine, right? A lot of things probably peppered in, but that's generally the basics. What happens whenever every day is Saturday? You've got to be able to know it's not just the financial part, it's the emotional part. So in the community, or with your community, how are you going to fill those voids and fill those days? And Tony, I think that's what the Big Chill talks about is, sometimes life, we all kind of go our different directions and we go our different ways. And then something kind of brings us back together, and we all, our college friends, our high school friends, our work, we have a common thread. And that's something that I think sustains us in throughout retirement, throughout, our lives. So it's not just always the financial. Sometimes it's the emotional part that we have,
and
the social aspect.
Yeah, and to add, you have to have a purpose,
Right.
in retirement. Some
Well,
people were, some of those, in the Big Chill, some of them were kind of driftless from
right,
college and
right.
didn't have a purpose. Others did. Yeah.
Which that was kind of funny because what was his name? He was in Avengers. What was his name? What was the guy who was kind of like the screw up?
Oh, he's so good.
I can see his face, but I can't think of his name right now. He played Thunderbolt Ross in most of the Avengers movies. He was in
Tom Berenger, Jeff
nope,
Goldblum, Kevin Kline.
nope. He was in Into the Wild, the movie about the guy who went to Alaska. Oh crap, Hurt.
Yeah, William Hurt.
William Hurt. Yeah, or you could be like William Hurt, right? I mean, he was just bouncing around, and he was actually the last one to get to the funeral that day. So but here again, we all have a role in our social structure and aspect. But since you mentioned it, last but certainly not least, last Thanksgiving movie, which only has a little bit of Thanksgiving in it, but I think for this conversation, it's pretty impactful. The Blind Side.
Yep. What a movie.
Giving is great, right? But purposeful giving, right? Generosity. We want to make sure that, we all want to do good. We have a desire to do good. And sometimes giving is not just about the financial aspect. It's not just about money. It's about, who do we give that to? Who do we bless? How do we bless? And, don't forget in retirement, especially getting towards the end of the year, what is certainly one thing that's still open if you haven't taken your RMDs, your required minimum distributions. It's your QCDs, right? Your qualified charitable distribution. So, let's say you have and I don't know, I'm just throwing an arbitrary number out, Tony, $20,000 in RMDs, required minimum distributions. And you want to, or you've been tithing all year, but you never took because you've been living off Social Security, your pension, whatever, but you have this thing sitting out there. You've been putting it off because markets have been kind of just meandering higher after April. And you're getting close to the end of the year. Right now, you only have about 5 weeks left. So if you haven't taken your RMD, this might be a good wake-up call if you're not a client of ours. If you have, you probably have gotten some nice stocking stuffers in your checking account because you just wake up and go, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
But QCDs, which is just simply taking the distribution from your custodian, giving it to the church or charity, 501c3 of your choice, that allows you to, A, take advantage, go ahead and get credit for your RMD, but B, not have it actually be taxable income on your 1040. And this year, with obviously the elevated, especially over 65 deductions, where right now most retirees are north of 46K, 46.7, I think. If that's you, maybe you're sitting out there and maybe a Roth conversion, something you haven't thought about. Maybe it's just, hey, I don't need it. These are all things we can use and strategies that we can not only benefit others, but also can get some really good benefit for you guys. And folks, at the end of the day, the tagline, generosity is what transforms lives, not money. So when you gift because it's something that you value and it's part of your overall makeup, that is much better than just doing it by impulse because you're trying to scurry around and throw dollars around and all that. So be intentional. Don't just get what's by happenstance. Be intentional about what you're doing. So, Tony, there's 5, and
Love it.
there's the show.
Yeah, I love it. I'm going to throw one more in there real quick. Grumpy Old Men, what actually took place a little bit during Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I have to give it a shout out because a large portion of it, and especially Grumpier Old Men, was filmed in Marina and St. Croix, where my wife grew up in Minnesota along the St. Croix River. So,
okay.
And I love that movie. And it's that you want to talk about retire. We could do a whole show on the retirement lessons.
Meredith is one of my favorite all-time characters. I mean, don't get me wrong. Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon, great. But Burgess Meredith and that
Burgess Meredith
he
made
just
it.
Stole it. He in the bloopers whenever he's when he's
what a character, man. That guy. The bloopers
wants to go to Hawaii. What island?
He is so funny. Yeah. Well, hey, great show today, Travis. I always look forward to this one and some great lessons from some great Thanksgiving movies. And I love that you and I are on the same page on almost all of these movies, including our number one, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's awesome. Well, hey, Travis, have a happy Thanksgiving with your family, and I'll do the same. And to our listeners and viewers, I hope they have a happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Right?
Tony, you too as well. Happy Thanksgiving. Those of you listening, thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of our show. Thank you for being a part of our practice. We wish you the best of Thanksgivings, the happiest of times. And folks, if you need help, please don't be afraid to ask. Thanksgiving's about giving, and we would be happy to give you a second opinion, give you some advice, give you some guidance that could hopefully change you and your family's retirement forever. Give us a call, 877-269-0839. That's 877-269-0839.
All right, and that does it for today's episode of Navigating Your Retirement with our host, Travis Chance.